Hmm. How about that? Well, how about that? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your very humble servant and host, Mr. David Knoll. I continue to pray that each and every day that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe and all the blessings from our Creator. So, but anyway, how are you doing? Um, as some of you know, many of you know, I hang around, and then my spirit guides kick me around, and they give me these ideas, and it's like here, it's like kicking a can down the street. Here's an idea. Oh, I did not take my medicine. No, that's the answer, Chloe. Did I read your mind? But for I have listened to Cliff High for many, many years now. And the fact that he has talked about the normies and how things are going to change and all this other kind of stuff, it's like, yep. And with the changes in the last 2 weeks, Jody, how you doing? Um, that with all the changes that are going on, I mean, just from top down, right? And people losing their blipping minds. And some of these people, it's like, I was talking about early this morning, actually, yesterday morning. Yes, I need to get my meds. Um, it takes two hands to do this, so maybe I can just turn like this and you can watch me take my meds. Hmm. I have them sitting over here on this. No, I'll sit here and talk to you. I just, they're sitting over here on this table. Ranolazine. Woohoo, we like this stuff, right? But so listening to Cliff High all these years, and he talks about the normies, you know, and I've always considered myself not a normie because, I've been studying UFOs and stuff since the 60s, I even did a special in high school. They had to have a project and do this thing and present it. And so my presentation was how difficult it was to fake a spaceship on a slide, like back in the old days, when you had slides that went in a projector, you know. And so it's like, well, what do you mean? Well, but my whole presentation is that, see, I have tried to use different things, and I had um, basically the negatives, right? And here I tried some bleach, and here I tried some stuff, and here I tried a whatever. And so it was about how hard it is to fake a UFO picture in the old days, back in the 60s. And so everybody was like, what the hell is he talking about? Now, like, this was about like 67 or 68, okay? 1968. I'm talking about aliens and UFOs at Tampa Catholic High School. you know, so there are folks out there that goes, well, I don't know. I was talking about it when I was a little kid. I stuck my head out of my mama's what you call it, and I said, aliens are here. Yeah, you know. Yeah, sure. What is this one? Oh, I can't remember what this one is. I went to the doctor's yesterday and got there too late, and my fault because I had to stop and take a dump. Um, so I have an appointment today at 3:15, and me and Duggar will be there. Nope, not that one. That's in the morning. Nope, that's in the morning. So, but anyway, so he's been talking about on some of his last, stuff about how the normies are going to freak out and how, well, that how basically the normies are going to freak out, you know. And so for me, listening to that, and for those of you who've been with me for a few years or not, um, I've been talking about it's going to be our job to help these poor folks along. They're going to have to get over the hump, you know. Susie Q, how you doing? John Price, hey, there you are. What I remember most about side projectors was the teacher had us all sitting on the floor. Well, I went to a Catholic school, and the best we could do was look up the nun's casket thingy. But now, but those Catholic girls, they like to wear them anyway. I'll leave it at that. Doggone, where is all my. See, these are marked one at bedtime because that's when I'm supposed to take them is at bedtime. But um, but anyway, in watching these crazy fools since Trump's been elected, um, and watching since he's taken the oath of office, these Karens and whatever, they're going blipping nuts. But then there are regular folks who are going, well, wait a minute, what does this mean? Look at all the drones flying over New Jersey. Does that mean there are no more aliens? Does that mean there's an alien in the group? And I would submit about the drones over New Jersey, I would submit that they've got some high tech stuff stuck in the middle of a bunch of stuff so they can test it. How long will the batteries last? Hey, Joe, we got some new batteries here. Let's try them in the drone, and it's like, well, how long will it last? I got a drone somewhere around here, a little thing, and that puppy won't stay in the air 12 minutes. Its battery runs out. So just about the time I get it up and get it to start to go somewhere, the battery dies. And I'm like, I watch people on the YouTube and stuff, and they're flying these things all over. What's wrong with my battery? But anyway, so I could see where they'd be testing batteries out and stuff. Um, Doggone. No, not that one. Hydralazine, yep. This one. Oh, that's right. They change bottles on me. I get used to stuff, and I'll have meds in a particular size bottle, and then I'll get my new prescriptions filled, and they'll give me something in a tall bottle or a little short, squat one, and then I go, well, where in the hell does that medicine go? Like this one, tamsulosin. Ooh, that's for the prostate. Keep that puppy under control. And then my gabapentin. There's a bunch of folks say, boy, you can't be taking that stuff. And I don't seem to have a hang up with it. So for um, some people can smoke weed and some people can't. Oh, that's crazy. Did I did I do this one? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here comes my meds. Look. Mm, where the hell's it? Let me get back over here. Sit in my seat. So, how y'all doing? So, but anyway, watching how some of these people react, and some of the people that I know, this one guy, God Almighty, he's a Democrat. He's wanted Hillary, and he wanted this person, and he wanted that one, and Trump is Hitler, and all that kind of stuff, right? And poor old Eddie, he's a couple of years younger than me, and we worked together over the years. I'm more hippie than he is, but he's a good old boy. But he to watch him melt down, I mean, he is literally having a meltdown. What are we going to do? Trump's in off 4 years. He's already done these things. And what? And poor Eddie is. Um, my friend Rob was over here yesterday, and he said, "I don't know what I'm going to do," because he stops in and checks on Ed like he checks on me, right? And he's like, "God, Eddie's in a bad way, man. Every time he's in a bad way because the Marines are at the border, the southern border, is like, and he's heard that, they're arresting, the immigrants, migrant thingy folks in towns, and that they're, oh my God, they're gonna take him to Gitmo. Ah, ah. He's sitting in a chair like, no. Wait a minute. These are nationals from other countries. Chances are most of them don't speak English, or vast majority, right? Si, senor. And so they came under the wire illegally. Oh, by the way, they had a couple of they committed a couple of crimes while they were here. Um, so you're opposed to sending them to Cuba, right? And Cuba's probably really nice this time of year. Shut up. I got them all down. Some of them are really bitter tasting. Mhm. So anyway, what's interesting? So my poor friend Eddie is just he's having a meltdown. And so there are other people, watching them on the news and watching these people how they react and then watching people in town react, and it's like folks in town seem to be getting along pretty dang good. You know, there are little meltdowns over here, and somebody goes, "Well, I just didn't know it was going to end up this way," and it's like, well, is it going to affect you in any way, Mister Dave? I can't say anything. As long as my social security checks keep coming in, and as long as they don't take any more out of my check, and long as my Medicare keeps working, and I'm pretty good. So, but them other folks, boy, howdy. So there are folks and I hate to say it, I do. There are folks who are on Medicaid, all right? Oh, such and such, such and such. They're disabled and so forth. Now, to the point, they do qualify for Medicaid, okay? But you can't own a house and you can't do this. Now, they're supposed to have changed some of that laws. But when they wanted to put me on Medicaid because I was disabled and I couldn't move and I was in a bad way, and they were like, you got to sign your house over to somebody. You can't own property. You're going to have to, put your vehicles in somebody else's name, and you're going to have to. And I was like, fudge that. So but so with Medicaid, and listening to Trump in a discussion something today. They were discussing Medicaid, and I was like, "So Medicaid is a different program from Medicare." Oh, they were asking RFK. That's what it was, and he was trying to explain to the dummy who was asking him the question. And so, which brings up a point that I want to mention here about RFK and how those folks were grilling him. And it's very simple. Um, he was trying to explain that his position is that he wants to come in and are you against vaccines, and he was like, I want to make sure that they're safe. Well, they are safe, Mr. Kennedy. Well, they are safe. And it's like, well, how come, how come people have been dying of heart attacks, and the people are dying because they've got this white stringy stuff in them? And, how come people, so he didn't have a chance to say anything, but he kept saying, talking about um, how he was committed to making things safe for Americans. So they kept grilling him like, "Are you going to do this? Are you against vaccines?" And he kept saying, "I am going to make sure that everything is safe." Rah, 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 rah. Is everything safe? Rah, 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 rah. Is Pearl in the house? Oh, goodness gracious! I was thinking about you just like 20 minutes ago, when I was outside looking at the stars, and I was like, I wonder what Pearl's doing, because they used to do Earth Wobble stuff, and you would come on about then. And so, are you okay, Miss Pearl? Yeah, Scotty boy. Good, 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 good. Blessings to you, and Happy New Year, since I haven't seen you, since the first of the year. But anyway, so in listening to some of these folks, they just don't get it, you know this is a new regime. I'm sorry. These are new numbers. I'm sorry. All of these people who are being laid off, well, yeah, you know, um, you can't allow senior members in the FBI or CIA or any of them, okay, the FDA, they gotta go because why? Because they will put a virus in a computer and shut down the system. So that when these folks go in there to look, and so many people are freaking out. Now, this is what you can help your normie friends with. They are not trying to take over the computers. They simply are doing dum da da dum an audit. When I worked for the government, there was, 3 times a year you were going to get visited. Now they tried to do it 4 times a year, but that was like every 3 months the guy was showing up, and he's like, "That's too much driving. We'll do it 4 times, 3 times a year." So every quarter, some supervisor from Atlanta would show up and go through our records and look at some stuff and how do you deal with this and well, here's our records over here. And that was back before there were computers, honestly. So it's like, well, that's interesting. So, but we had everything was showing up paper. So, but we had everything, and we could go over and pull out a file and go, well, here are the houses that we worked on last week, and here in this folder is what we did last month, and here in this folder back here is what we've done, and we put them out on the table. Here you go, and it was like, okie dokie. So we never failed any of our um, inspections, but the government has never passed an inspection. Oh, goodness gracious. So the first thing they do is run all the bosses out of the office. Bye, go. Go ride around the block for a couple hours and come back. And then they go, what? They'll have the secretary in there because the secretary knows where everything's at. So you make buddies with the secretary, you know, and it's like, okay, Mildred, where's the good stuff hidden? You know. And Mildred's like, oh, I don't know. Don't make me tell you. You know, come on, Mildred, tell us where it is. No, I don't want to be. No, don't make me. Oh, it's behind the cabinet. That was easy, right? But anyway, but these normies and these folks, their stuff, we had stuff, we run a clean shop, but we had our secrets too. Everybody, I don't care. You got some secrets. Now, it might be a little petty slush fund you got over here on the side for buying birthday cakes. Okay. Because that's we did. We had one of those little slush funds. And when somebody had a birthday, we'd go down and buy one of the little cakes. And everybody come in, have a cup of coffee at the end of the day, and happy birthday to whoever in the squad its birthday was. So then everybody would throw in a quarter or throw in a something, to the slush fund for the birthday cakes. But now if somebody came in and go, what's this, money in here and what's this for? Is that petty cash? And it's like, no, that's our birthday cake fund. And yeah, okay, you try to explain it, and the guys from and gals from Atlanta just go, you can't have that kind of thing. This is a government office. So, but there are things like that. All right. So, but some of these folks, I watched one thing yesterday where the guy was like, he was literally going bananas. We got to get back in our offices. We can't allow them in there. And who does Elon Musk think he is? And blah 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 blah. And I was like, he's the chief operator for Doge. That's what he is. And you're gonna shut up and let him look through your files because he probably can scan a page of code like that. And but the biggest thing is let's print out this file. Let's see what's on this list. Oh my God, you spent how much money for drag queens in Brazil? What? 150 million you spent on trying to teach people how to drive in on Tonga? Wait a minute now. You mean you gotta? So those of us who are watching, who are paying attention, so to speak, are like, see, I told you the government wasted money. And then there are people sitting over here, in the peanut gallery, and they're going, No, 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 no. It can't be. That's got to be a mistake. Y'all dreamed that up and printed it up. There ain't no drag queens in Brazil. No, hell no. And who told you that? The government. But ain't no way the government told you that. I'm sorry, it's right here. Go to the government website. I don't have to go to no government website. I know my government would not do spend money on condoms for Hamas. Well, look it up. It's true. I'm melting. You know, so this is where we are. And I'm thinking of my friend, dear Eddie, who's literally in a tizzy. He's not screaming or anything, but he's like nervous and Trump's in office, and 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 he's he's shutting down the government, and it's like a yeah, he's putting a hold on stuff. Wants to find out where $1 trillion is going, and they got a few files they want to check through. Oh, and that naked dancing thing with the drag queens and all in Brazil, that was true. You know, just saying. And you say, well, but it wasn't but $45 million. And you go, only 45 million? Well, that's a drop in the bucket. For our projects and things, and you want to give $45 million to a bunch of drag queens in Brazil. No, I think not. Got to draw the line. And another line, and another line, because obviously you people are dumb as a box of rocks. He said that today. Somebody said that today. She's as dumb as a box of rocks. That's better than saying she's a fucking idiot. It's like, whoa, he's called her dumb as a box of rocks. He could have called her a dumbass. He could have called her a fucking idiot. He could have, so dumb as a box of rocks was calm. It's like, good for him. So what else can we call her? So what else is on the list of things to do, right? And there are some folks out there, like my buddy Eddie. I'm going to have to sit down with him and Ed, do you have any chamomile tea? you know, Ed, let's smoke one of these and have a cup of chamomile tea. Let's take a deep breath now. Trump is not Hitler. Trump is Hitler. Well, that didn't work. Ed, calm down. Have some chamomile tea. Take a hit off of this. Trump is not Hitler. Anyway, but it's nice to know that most of the people. Now, I don't have a neighborhood like most. There's a neighbor down over there, and there's a neighbor down over there, and Miss Sheila's a neighbor that lives through the woods. And but I got neighbors that are 3 miles away, kind of thing. But so to those neighbors, most of these neighbors all voted for Trump. So there's my point to that is there's no meltdown. Now there are a couple of folks who are going, um, ain't he going a little too fast? I mean, things are just going and happening and happening and happening and happening. And to me, myself, and I would go, it seems really fast. And it is. But you know why it's got to be fast? It's like Dan Bongino has said, you got to rock 'em, sock 'em, keep going so that the dumbs go, well, he did what today? Oh no, and then there they go. And then he did what? Oh, there they go off of so, they're having a hard time going back 2 days and repeating what happened on Sunday, They're having a hard time repeating what happened yesterday on Monday. And by tomorrow evening, there'll be like forgot stuff that happened today, and they'll be talking about only the stuff that happened on Wednesday, right? Because the news cycles and so many things that are being talked about. So the normies are having a meltdown because of that. It's not just the information, right? But here's the thing, there is so much information that it's going to have to be up to us with some of these people. And I said this years ago. I said, we're going to have to be kind. We can't, pick on these people. There goes Duggar. We can't pick on these people. We can't belittle them. We can't say, I told you so every time you turn around. You might do that like once, but be nice about it. They're already feel bad because they realize that they're a normie and that they just realize that they got to come to you or me to get like the straight poop, you know, to help, go through the lines. And what does this mean? And, it means this. Really? Well, yeah. Oh, well, that's not too bad. And then when you start explaining things out, they go, well, they said they was going to do this. Yeah, yeah, but you know what it means? Well, no, because they just said we do it. Well, this is what it means. Oh, well, okay, well, I agree with that. Should they be flying illegals in over the border and landing them in an airfield of some designation, and then they get off the plane and get right on a bus and they're bused somewhere to the interior of our United States? Are you cool with that? No. Well, that's what they're doing. That's what's going on. And if you don't like it, that's what they're trying to stop. Well, does that make me a normie? Because I don't understand. Well, it makes you a normie because you're just used to normal things. And you can be a good normie. You can be a king or queen normie by paying attention. You pay attention to what these politicians are doing. You pay attention to who's trying to tell you a lie. And there's a bunch of folks out there that are telling lies still. And it's like, well, Mr. Dave, how come they're lying to us? Because if they told you the truth, some people would lynch them, you know. And it wouldn't be black people being lynched, Mm-mm. It won't be Mexicans that are being lynched. It'll be tall white people. And they're going to get even taller when they get stretched. So, but the people who are resigning really loud, every single one of them, I can't believe that they locked me out of my office. Arrest that guy. Why? How come you want to arrest me? Because you won't shut up. You're hiding something. Otherwise, you'd be over there in the corner drinking a cup of coffee and just minding your own business. And at the moment, you ain't doing that. So the fact that you keep hollering at me and saying, don't go, that's my office. You can't go in there. You got no right. Arrest that man and put him in solitary. He's hiding something. No, I'm not. Well, wait a minute. Who are you to arrest me? Down the elevator. And so those those people, the last few days, who have been screaming, hollering, "No, you can't do that. You can't come in my office. You can't look on my computer." What are you hiding, dipwads? The, those are the people that need to go in. Somebody who's going to do it? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't trust Elon Musk. Why? Because he's a billionaire. Listen, Elon's already rich. He doesn't need to sideswipe this program. He doesn't need to put a bug in it to send him money quietly in the background. No, he wants the country to save money because in doing that, his tax rate will automatically go down. So he and his business won't have to pay as much tax along with everybody else, you know. Hey Steve, how you doing? So this idea, oh, Elon Musk is cheating us. Elon Musk is going to be the end of us. Elon Musk is doing a great job because he's noticing these line item things. Put me in there. I'll go down the list. Mr. Null, what are you doing? I am, I have um, performed audits before, and I don't really know what I'm looking for, except I can read. And I want printouts of all of these programs along with the money. I know you can do it because you have to do it. It's a program. And so that one page and it automatically adds up like 42 million for this one, 12 million for that one, 6 million for that one. And, as you're reading down the page at the bottom, there's a total of how much money was given out for the projects on this page. And at the end of these 90 pages, it gives you a total 3,959,779,000,000 and 29 cents. That's how much the government sent out through this treasury thing. So it's like now we as Americans have every damn right to find out what they're spending money on. Now, if you watched the news yesterday or the day before, it might have been Friday, they they were standing outside one of them government buildings, right? And one of the commentators saying, "Well, they're locked out of the building." And he was like, "We work in here and this is our jobs and we're going to storm the building." So he literally comes off the mic with another guy behind him, and people in the crowd start heading for this building. And they go around and they start tugging on the doors. And they start doing this and they go around the corner and they start tugging on those doors. And I'm like, there was a bunch of people there. And you go, wait a minute. Those are the Democrats. Arrest their funky ass. That looks like an insurrection. They're pulling on the doors and they're hollering and raising their fists and they got signs. Shouldn't you arrest them, sons of guns? Oh no, those are Democrats. What? Those are Democrats. We can't arrest them. But they're doing the same thing that the protesters did on January back, you know? No, but these people are like shaking the doors and let us in, Um, Wow. And you people got on to the Republicans for what they did, right? And you're doing the same damn thing. And we have video, um, but nobody cares. But this two-tiered justice system. Now I will add this to the mix of things, if you will, in that somebody has, of course, they've said, well, they asked President Trump if he was going to get revenge on any of those FBI people. And here's the thing that we have been discussing now for a couple of months, and I agree with this statement. We don't want revenge. We want justice. What? Now, that's not what Trump has said, to my knowledge. That's what we and some of his aides and some of them other guys, and we don't want revenge. We want justice. Cash Patel has talked about this. If they broke the law, we want justice. And if they were treasonous, we want justice. And if they, bared false claims against someone, we need justice, not revenge. And that's totally different, you know? I never put on a jacket till I got onto the low 40s. Yeah, it's difficult to get naked when it's cold. Ooh, high of 27 with wind chill of 13. Yeah, it's been really nice and balmy down here in South Georgia, where last week, where there was snow on the ground, like 6 inches of snow on the ground. So, but anyway, so to these folks, you know, so what do you say to a neighbor who is so perplexed by the whole thing? Like these folks were arguing about it today. Now, they had started the program at about 10 o'clock this morning, and the argument was tariffs and how Trump had no right to raise the tariffs for Mexico and for Canada and for Colombia and whoever else was they were talking about. And so this, lady is literally giving them hell on this program. He's just about outworking his program, and he's gonna be the death of America. And I can't believe, and she is hammering Trump, who's out here somewhere, and but the Republican over there, and there's some other people on the dais, and it's like, well, wait a minute, she was just hammering it, and then there was like somebody said, oh, oh, we just got a news break. Mexico just called and said they agreed to work with Trump. Oh, wait, there's another, and Canada called too, and they're gonna go ahead and work it out. And this lady was like, "But Canada, what did you say? Canada's accepted it, and Trump's not going to have to raise the tariff." So these people have been going on a tirade about the tariff thing. And then when Trump shows everybody the art of the deal and how it works, just watch, pay attention. And so these people get, a knot in their cronies, and up their butts, and they can't sit back and go, well, let's see how the normies overreact to this one. And so the normies all blow up, and the Democrats all blow up, and their heads are all blah. And then you go, but 30 minutes later is like, but but that they had to but Mexico was gonna and Canada was gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, mister, but you ain't got a leg to stand on. You might as well just hush up. Because you should have never opened your big mouth to begin with. Why? Because the art of the deal is you put out a proposition and you just dangle it out there. You just fold your arms and you just leave it there. It's sort of like when you go fishing, especially for catfish. You put that bait on there and you hang it down in the water and you just let it be. You don't be raising it up and moving it around. You just let that bait sit right there. Because that catfish might be taking a nap in the mud. And then the next thing you know, that catfish wakes up and shakes the mud off of him, and there's that worm. There's that bait hanging right there in front of that catfish. Now, if you'd have been jumping that catfish bait all around, that catfish would have ignored it. Now, for a bass, they want that bait to be moving, right? But a catfish. So if you're fishing for catfish, you throw it out there and just let it sit. And you watch the bobber, you know. And if it gets taken down real hard, then you snatch that hook in. So, but he put the bait out there. Gonna raise your terrace. Yeah, okay. And he's so nonchalant about it. Where everybody else is peeing in their pants, he's like, you know. So, and that's part of the art of the deal, being cool headed. And you go, but wait a minute, didn't he just, yeah, and Columbia said it, what, they have agreed to do it too? Oh, well, dang, I want to go back to the studios, but I ain't got no material. I was gonna, I was gonna bitch about it all day today, but they all conceded. Now what do I talk about? How about you talk about your fat ass that's up around your shoulders? And, is that your fat ass that's, muzzling your face? Or is that your something else? Never mind. So, it's interesting, when I pulled the cards tonight on Robert's channel, pulling a squirrel card, is like squirrel, it shows us, that to go out and collect things, to make sure you got stuff in your burrow. You got to make sure that you got, but here's the thing. As Squirrel says, it's not all about the material things that you save. And, Squirrel reminds us that we need to have space in our heart. We need to have clear some space out in our soul or in our spirit. So, and the reason is so that we can accept more, right? And so normies are being bombarded by all these things. And so they don't know whether something's true or not. And they go, well, did you hear it on mainstream media? No, it was on Joe Rogan. Oh, well, Joe Rogan tells the truth. They hate telling lies or making stuff up. What? That's right. Well, I was listening to the view. Oh, no, you didn't. You almost said the view. Don't say that word. But so the squirrel is telling us that we need to make room in our hearts. Why? Because there are a lot of confused normies as to what's going to be going down here in the future. How can they do this? How can they, shut down these programs? How can they stop money from going, to Zelensky? It's how do we stop money from going to Zelensky? It's called a stop payment. You know, you go over to the Treasury Department or whatever that department is that makes out the checks and mails them. You unplug that some bitch from the wall, and you go, hang on, before anything in this office goes out, we're gonna check them and say, well, there's $4 million to study the poop from chimpanzees in the Amazon. If you feed them pistachios, what? Nah, we'll give that money to a YMCA. YMCA, you know what I mean? So, having worked in the government, having had the opportunity, now this was years ago, and back, I don't know, about 6 years ago, with Trump trying to put stuff out and being transparent, there was some stuff that got leaked out, I guess, if you will. And it was about some of these programs that they got grants, and somebody okayed the grant. And these two guys, who hippie type guys at one of the colleges, and they were studying, and this is true, okay? They were studying the necrophilia of ducks. And I have seen it here on my place. If a duck died, all the other ducks would get in line to hump it. So they wrote a grant to study the nocturnal emission thingy for ducks for the necrophilia. Honest to God, Katniss, it was a real grant. And everybody was like, what? And it was on, NPR used to do once a year the the Dunder Awards or something like that. And they said, well, so for this year, the Ig Nobel Prize goes to such and such and such and such. And they were like, and the audience went off. For getting a grant for $10,000 to study the, you know, the sexual habits and sexual deviance of, anyway, everybody laughed their butts off. And I was like, you got to be kidding. But I looked it up and it was true. So, but there have been some other things that have been just as damn stupid. And so people say, well, you get away with that. And I was like, but here's the thing. I had ducks in my backyard. And one of them died, and the others went over there and just literally humped it to death. Oh, that was bad. Um, but so it would be an interesting study. Like, wait a minute, how come all the ducks do it? You know, how come they're like lined up to do it? And there seems to be a hierarchy with the ducks that are still there as to who gets sloppy thirds or not. I mean, it's just like, what? So I could kind of see their point, and it being probably a couple of stoners, have got to do some kind of report for their master's degree or something, and the sexual deviant behavior of a duck, you know, getting it on with a dead duck. That's fair game. You know what I mean? That's fair game. So at first I thought, wow, that's just a waste of time and money, and I could see where that was stupid. But then about 4 weeks later, I get some ducks, and within a day, they're showing me exactly that behavior that those guys were studying. So, who's to say they were right or wrong? Who's to say whoever was gave them the grant to study it in the first place? Were they smart or not? But anyway, PhD in duck soup. Yeah. You talking about the movie Duck Soup with the Marx Brothers? That's what I was thinking. I've had some dead. Yeah, really. But they were still breathing. There's a dead duck in the middle of the road. Dead duck in the middle of the road. There's a dead duck in the middle of the road, stinking to high heaven. Well, he should have turned left and he should have looked right. He didn't see the station wagon car except the tail light. Anyway, yeah, dead ducks don't run off. Joe, where are you going? I don't know. I can't run. Well, I'll run for you. See ya. But anyway, so it's a 20. Oh, it's a 25. Okay, I was sitting here waiting, but I wait no longer. So, but anyway, I can see where there's some folks who are a little upset, that Trump's an alien hybrid, and that Trump's going against all the grain with the Democrats, and Trump's doing this and that, and Trump's scaring the shit out of a bunch of people. But here's the thing: everything that I have watched before the election and since, because I'm curious, you know, well, why are you going to do it that way, and why are you going to do that? And how come you locked the doors on the building and threw them all out? I mean, so, but I mentioned this last night in my live stream. Is that um, in in corporate America and other places, if they're going to fire you, they come get you right then, and they escort you away from your desk and out. They won't let you take anything in your desk. You're not supposed to touch anything. You can't touch your computer. They literally, because they don't know if you can sabotage something or if you would. And so, they get the master at arms and they go, sorry, out of here. And it's humiliating. But that's how these corporations make sure that their stuff don't get sabotaged, right? So, but an engineer, if especially, he can put in one of them things into the USB port and screw up a $2,500 computer, with all because for us over there, we had some really fast computers with a lot of memory because we were dealing with really great big uh, drawings, whole plant drawings, with 17,000 square feet and 21,000 square feet and 28,000 square feet, respectively, three different plants. And that didn't count the warehouses. But so here we are, and look at how big, you know. some of the programs, right? So the programs in these different places, like they're talking about just dismantling the education department. And I think that education should be maybe for college level stuff, you know, to keep an eye on the universities for not being, for being stupid and trying to get away with things. And so, but to the Department of Education to oversee whether or not, the book that I grew up on, See Spot Run, you know, what? Those little readers, See Spot Run, And it's like, wait a minute. But those were very effective books, very effective readers. And somebody said, well, they don't do See Spot Run anymore. It's like, why? It worked for all of us, unless you were, transitional or traumatized or something, See Spot Run. So, but if the state of Georgia wants to has a bunch of books that is See Spot Run, they don't have to listen to the feds tell them that they can't use it, or vice versa. State of Georgia says we don't want to do See Spot Run anymore. We got little Sambo running around a pine tree, and we're gonna it's gonna be little black Sambo. See see little Sambo running around a tree. How many times before he falls down? Um, there was a tiger chasing him, and then it made honey, and then little black Sambo. They can't even say that anymore. Little black. Oh, that's so racist. Sambo lives in the jungles of Africa. How many white people are running around in the deep jungles of Africa? Well, there's Tarzan. I don't know, not many. So, what color are the indigenous people of Africa? Well, Mr. Davis, black. So, if I say little black Sambo, it's just stating a fact, correct? Well, yes, sir. Sambo was from the Congo, and most of the residents of Congo are black, and so little black Sambo is like perfectly legit. But how come they took the books off the shelf? How come they made little black Sambo somehow he's become an icon for what's wrong with society? Little black Sambo's racist. I'm racist for wanting to read Little Black Sambo. I'm racist because I want to read Little Black Sambo to my grandkids. Because we used to laugh at the story back when I was a child. Used to sit on my granny's lap and she'd read us Little Black Sambo. I didn't know what racist meant when I was a child. And now I think you, mister, up there sitting on your fat ass, trying to convince me that Little Black Sambo is somehow that it is a racist story when it's about a tiger who's chasing Little Black Sambo who's running around a tree. What? I'm sorry, mister, I don't understand it. And because you, sir, are a dumbass. Oh, goodness gracious. You know what I mean? So we have got to work on some of these normies. We've got to be able to, get their ears out of the fence. What do you mean, Hawkeye? Well, people are going to be like, what's going on? And they turn their heads sideways. Next thing you know, they got their ears stuck in a chain link fence, trying to listen to what's going on over there. And it's like people are going to try to climb the fence, not necessarily a border wall, but they climb the fence so they can get a better view, so they can hear what's going on better, so they can see where the Mexican cartels are going to lob grenades over the wall. You know, so is the border wall to keep them out, or is the border wall to keep us in? Hmm, how about that one? But anyway, so for the normies part, it's like, there are already some companies who want to move their manufacturing back to the United States. Now, I have talked about this for many years because our plants went to Mexico. Now, I lost a really good job and, was just let go, and along with 700 other people. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't the only one. But in this, that now they're thinking about bringing them back because the Mexicans just don't work the same way as white people do. Well, there were black folks, a lot of black folks and Mexicans in the plants up here. So it was not all whites by a long stretch. But we got along really good. All of us mixed brands of folkses. And it was turning out to be a pretty decent place to work without a lot of strife and stress, because I was trying to make sure that all the machines ran well and that everybody was making their production without having to work overtime, and and it was working out well. And then this Pakistani guy shows up one day and went, "Oh, look, we can send this shit to Mexico." And in 2 months, they started shipping stuff to Mexico. So, but now with the tariff stuff, these plants are literally just on the other side of the fence in Nogales, Mexico. And now all of those spark plug wire sets are going to have to pay a tariff because they're literally on the other side of the fence from America. But because they wanted cheap labor and because they didn't want to pay us the salaries we were making here in South Georgia for 15 years, we made the product. So now Prestolite Wire is going to have to pay out the wazoo when they already had a plant here in Georgia and other places too. But so now they're going to have to pay extra. Now that means that Ford, Toyota, Honda, Chrysler are all going to have to pay extra for those thousands of sets of spark plug wires. How about that? So Prestolite and that Pakistani guy they made as CEO, he ain't so smart anymore, is he? Oh yeah, we'll do cheap labor down here in Mexico, and it'll just be right over the line in Nogales, so it'll be easier for shipping back up here into the United States. Oh, but what? Now there's a tariff on all those products. Well, Ford can't make their cars without those spark plug wires because we're a tier one group and we make all the spark plug wires for all of the Ford cars and some trucks. Oh shit. So now Ford's going to be pissed because there might be an embargo of spark plug wires on the other side of the fence in Mexico, where they were set up perfectly fine in South Georgia with 700 people working their butts off to make sure our product was the best. One to cut some corners, one to try to make it cheaper, one to try to. They're going to have to pay a tariff. I love it. I love it. But so, anyway, so there are folks who are not understanding what's going on, and they are overreacting up the wazoo, up the yin yang, and up the Yangtze, and down the Mississippi where the alligators go. But what do you mean by that, Dave? Well, what I mean is like today when that lady on that news program started out that I, it might have been the 9 o'clock hour. Started out the 9 o'clock hour with them discussing this on stage, and she's getting more upset and more upset as she goes along, and it's going to be bad, and how these tariffs and how it's going to make our products go, and how this is going to this is going to be bad. And she was just hammering it out, and then they interrupted her like 5 minutes before the show was up, and they went, you know, Trump just got a phone call that Mexico has agreed. And what? Oh, yeah, and Colombia agreed too. What? Venezuela agreed? Yeah, okay. And so, and Canada agreed? Well, there you go. So she's like, um, um, oh crap. So her argument about, oh, Trump is so bad, and she had to shut her freaking mouth because Trump got what he wanted for us, you dumbass. So people are saying, look, Trump's. But pay attention to this. Who is Trump working for? I'm being honest. Who is Trump working for? Me and my buddies and you. Who's Trump work? Well, he's working for himself because he's a narcissist. All of this stuff is for him alone. Now, I have known a few narcissistic people in this lifetime of mine, and I can see where he likes himself a lot. But he puts on a ball cap and goes out and will get her done. And so that narcissism, he doesn't have to shine his shoes to go look at a construction site. He don't have to do these, um, so he knows what he's doing in a lot of stuff. And there are people who are like, well, he's not a construction worker. Like me, I was in construction. I was worked on steel buildings. I've worked on building stuff for the inside of houses. I've worked on putting on siding on houses. I've worked on replacing roofs. And so it's like, well, what? Wait a minute. So if somebody comes along and says, well, Dave, who are you to put in your 2 cents about this? Well, because I worked construction for like 20 years. I used to work on doing roofs. I used to do all these things. I have worked in I have a background and I oh, by the way, I was a draftsman. And with paper, and then I moved into the digital age, and I have designed houses on computers long before these people who do it now for fun and everything. There was so yes, I have worked in this, and yes, and so, but there are people who will say, well, what makes you qualified? So listening to these, you know, bongos on the Senate, you just thinking, listening to, where do you have the experience? And then they try to tell it. And this one guy butts in and it's like, if you would shut your effing mouth, it was RFK. And he was like, if you'll allow me to finish the answer. And he just went on. I hated when my VW radiator went out. Yeah, buddy. They were hard to get out of there, you know what I mean? Same thing with the Corvair. Where's the radiator at? There was a couple of people that had Corvairs, and one of them was one of the coaches at Tampa Catholic, and they would have me run errands and go pick up whatever down at the place, and to go get drinks and ice and stuff for the break time for the football team. And so man, I'd be running all over the dang place um, in that Corvair. Loved it. But anyway, I digress. But so the normies, and if you see somebody sitting over there, quote, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That might be a normie. You know, it might be a normie, meaning a Democrat. And all of this stuff about AI. Now, Cliff Highs talked about it. I will discuss it a little bit here. And all of these other people, there is not a singular AI. Ain't that right, Bob? AI, there is a group of folks over here in China. They got their own AI. There's a group of folks up here in Canada. They got their own AI. There's some folks down in Texas. They got their own AI. And Elon Musk has got two or three AIs because he's finding out what this one can do and that one can do, and how they can interact together. But no, they're separate entities. And here's this AI with, from here and here and here and here. They all talk different. They all learn. Well, I won't say they learn differently. It's the material that is fed to the computer and to the AI that makes it different. So if you want to build a 20-story building, you put in drawings and stuff and everything, tensile strength, materials. You put all of that in your AI. You load that information into your AI. Why? Because your AI on this project is going to use all this architectural information. It's going to use all of this other thing about concrete and steel, and it's going to use that. We say, well, Dave, What about other information? Well, it doesn't need to know who William Shakespeare is. What? It doesn't need to know who won the War of 1812. What? You know, that computer doesn't need to know what the Emancipation Proclamation is. What? So, and that's the deal. So there are folks pushing how AI is going to kill us all. But here's the deal: the AIs that are out there, and you too, if you got enough money, you can buy one, and you can train it to do what you want it to do. And so at some point, maybe in the future, the AIs will meld together. But there's already been studies as to what happens when they try to do that. They want to kill each other, you know? So it's like, but everybody's, oh, AI is going to take over the world. Wait a minute. We have all these singular groups that are being taught specific things: how to make an automobile, just that information; how to build a 10-story skyscraper, just that information; how to watch the stocks and bonds for, yields of corn in the Midwest or something. You got to feed that information in. So, but anyway, normies don't know that, and a lot of other people who I thought were smart, are going, oh no, AI is going to be here next month. We're all going to die. And I'm like, oh, God Almighty. You said that 2 years ago. And, okay. So many of us need to learn about blockchain because apparently it ain't going away. So, and from what I understand, it's safe and reliable up to now. So, okay, I'll learn about I'll learn I'll learn about blockchain and what it means, right? So, but what about, I know some little old granny ladies. They are not going to get blockchain. Ain't gonna happen. She's got a recipe for the best peanut butter scrumples that you ever want to put in your mouth, but she is not going to be able to comprehend what blockchain is. Okay. So now we have to understand that these are normies out there, and they're perfectly normal. They look around and they're functioning people in society, but there's certain things like little old granny ladies, they are not going to get this stuff. Just, they're not going to get it. And to bump it off, top it off, because I've got an aunt that's 89 now. It's like, well, I don't know if I should even mess with that at my age. What? Well, yeah, you got to learn about blockchain and you got to learn about this because, these, well, I don't know at my age. I don't think I need to know that kind of stuff. And which is true. So there's going to be part of the population that's going to be really smart about it. And in a way, they're going to hold all the cards. Now, the information is out there, but for us old folks like me, now there are some old folks like me who really know what's going on. They're smart about this shit. So, but on the convex side of things, there are folks like me, my age at 72, and I just know a little bit about this. And me and a couple other folks that I know of, in fact, one, two, three, at least 10 out of 12 people that I know are going to have to take a course in blockchain. Only two people out of this group really know what's going on. And one guy would say, "But yeah, but I know what it is." And I could say, "Yeah, but TT, you don't have any, do you? No. Do you know what it? No. Well, how about it? No. So you can talk around it, but you don't really have any, and you don't know what it means. So sit back down, sit back down. Good try." So that's going on, but there are people who are kind of fudging it. Oh yeah, I know all about it. No, they don't. So we're absolutely going to have to learn about that. And so there are those narcissistic people who are like, "Mr. Boy, I'm a fat black lady. What? Who smokes Salem 100s?" Newports. Newports. So why did I bring this up? My point I was trying to make is that these Karens were all freaking out this morning over the crisis of tariffs, right? And while she's bitching and moaning and cussing and pounding the table and getting up and watching her blood pressure skyrocket, and before their segment is done, oh, Venezuela called. Oh, Canada called. Oh, Mexico called. Oh, Colombia called. Oh, and Trump's sitting back there, going, "Hee, I told you, hee hee." And so there is this lady then who has to eat crow. But here's the thing: did she learn a lesson? Did anybody learn a lesson? To pay attention to your commander in chief. Now they want to stop him before he makes a mistake, but he didn't make a mistake. But they chastised him anyway for being reckless, for being thoughtless, for being, "Oh, you closed down all of this and that and this and that and this and that." Yeah, so we could get a baseline point of where things are because we're in the middle of the biggest audit that the United States has ever had. What? That's right. We in the middle of an audit. And you should be happy they banned menthol cigarettes. Oh, in Cali. Oh yeah. Um, I was watching a Cat Williams thing, being interviewed by somebody I can't remember, and Cat was like, "Ah, man," he was like, the guy said, that you can't smoke menthols, in California, and he was like, "What?" Yeah, but we're in my studio, so you go ahead and light one up. You got menthol cigars. Yeah, see, I used to smoke menthol a bunch of years. Benson and Hedges 100. Um, but I was smoking 2 packs a day, and I'm working on a third pack. And this is, 40 years ago. And I read something somewhere, and somebody we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, I need to look that up. But they were saying that menthol cigarettes have these tiny little fiber like things that make it the menthol, right? Sort of like little cotton pieces of cotton, sort of like, right? And so they were saying that menthol cigarettes have the menthol and you inhale it and how you inhale it, blah, blah, blah. Those little particle thingies get caught in your lungs and then that's when you can get lung cancer. Um, so at the time, I seen a couple of docu-series kind of things that were showing these little particulates and seeing how easy it was to get. What the hell was that? I live way out in the stinking country, and there is a boatload of big, heavy boom, and the earth is shaking. There's another one. It's like really heavy duty equipment. And it's in the middle of the night. There ain't nothing going on, but there's something going on. So, but anyway, with all this stuff that's going on, and for the people who are complaining about DEI, you don't want somebody with a vision impairment working in a tower watching the radar scope. I've got some cataracts. I'm good, man. What you want me to do? You want me to watch this screen right here? All right, I'll do it. Listen, what's some little blips? Where's that one going? Son of a bitch. Is that an airplane? Yeah, just hit the tower. Yeah, that's a good job there, Mr. Dave. I told him down at the office I could do it. Yeah, I could do some skits about some of this. Squeeze the filter on Marlboros. Why? What comes out? Earthquake. It's some kind. Yeah, I don't think it's an earthquake, but it's got a low rumble like that, though. I heard there are some cigarettes that have things you break to get menthol. Oh, it might be. Do any of you remember poppers? Pop. Amyl nitrate. That's what it was. Amyl nitrate. Poppers. But anyway, so what's going on? The normies going crazy. I think there's going to be a couple of normies that just jump out a window. They're just not going to be able to take it. Man, we could put a mattress down underneath, but they just, so maybe you should put one of them big pillows under a window that's about 4 or 5 stories up, and you advertise it as, hey, if you want to jump off of a building, come down to 49th and 3rd, and you can take the plunge, you know. And so they can get up there. My life is not worth anything, and off they go. And in that way, they can go, wow, that was trippy. You sure you want to die like that? We can pull this thing back and you can hit the sidewalk. But, you see that watermelon that we let go? We didn't even throw it. It followed you down and hit the pavement. That's what your head would look like. I know you wouldn't care, but it's the rest of us that's got to clean up the mess. So, okay, I won't kill myself this way. I'm gonna thank you, Jesus. I won't jump off a building. I am not Superman. I am not Spider Man. I am a geek with a long sleeve shirt on. So, but anyway, woke me up big time. What? Smelling shit smelled like a full blown ammonia. Oh, God. Yeah, going into these chicken houses around here, and man, it burns your eyes. It's so bad. So, how are the normies going to take, adjustments in other things? And what do I mean by that? Well, the delivery of certain vegetables. And you go, what are you talking about? Well, Trump has given RFK, you know, sort of carte blanche for um, healthy foods, for being healthy, and to make sure that stuff ain't going to kill us. And so they were arguing with, RFK earlier about, what about these? Well, you must say that you do believe that vaccines are safe. Will you say that, Mr. Kennedy? And he was like, listen, I don't know if vaccines are safe or not, and that we should reserve our. Mr. Kennedy, you have blah, 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 and you are a traitor to the United States, and you just want to kill millions of people, and I was like, son of a bitch. You can't have an opposing opinion at all. To just have the conversation. I didn't take it. I didn't get it. I know some other people who didn't take it and didn't get it. So it's like we didn't die. But other people that I know of who got it had a heart attack within a day and they're dead. There is a really big link for some doctors who have seen the risk of cardiac failure come up since that brand of, you know. So and Dr. Campbell and some other folks, and what about those embalmers who were finding this stringy stuff in dead people, and so there is all of this peripheral information, and it all looks bad for that. So, but you can't mention certain words, and you can't mention, and so, but even though we collectively might be right, this stuff will kill you. you know, I already have heart problems. Don't want more. So no, don't jab me. You know, you will break my civil liberties because you think I should. Who are you to tell me I should? Well, everybody's got a habit. Yeah, right, Scotty boy. You're right. Everything we have where intake will kill us. At some point, yeah. Nitrous oxide is the gas in the cans. What cans? Oh, yeast infection. Wait, cans of whipped cream are for sexual adventures. Oh, mm. Nitrous oxide is also laughing gas. And we got a hold of a bottle, a big blue tank bottle full of nitrous oxide, and there's a couple of times it almost killed us. I got a rebreather thing, and my buddy at the time, he was like, I don't know how to make a thing to go on the tank. I said, get me some this and that and some tape and I'll make it. So I did. So um, it didn't have a gauge, but it just had an on and off knob. So, we practiced. We just turned it on just a little bit and put that mask on and breathe it in for like a minute. And then when your ears start going ying, 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 real loud, you've had enough. you know, that's what we learned, doing nitrous oxide. But yeah, they're saying that nitrous oxide might have some other good side effects. I'm like, that'd be interesting to see. But anyway, these other things that they want to make us do it or do, and it's like the people who had to leave the armed services. Trump said, "Come back. You know, we're going to give you back pay. Oh, and you can rejoin if you want. You know, just like you never left." And there are people over here, and you don't have to either. And not gonna make it mandatory for you folks over here. And those people who quit or had to leave because it was your CEOs made it mandatory. Well, you can have your jobs back. And it's, what? So, and the J6ers. Yesterday the Democrats, when they were protesting outside of one of the buildings, it was a secretary building or something, that oversees, some of this money that goes out through these, the USAIN thingy or whatever. But, you know, there's $1 million here and $500,000 there and $750,000 over there, and $125 million over there. And you look around and they say, well, it really isn't that much in comparison to other things that the United States pays out. Yeah, but we shouldn't be paying out for those kinds of things. Pay attention, you know? So, and Elon Musk is eating them up. These people are going freaking crazy. And that's a good thing because it makes them feel like they're drowning. They're drowning in stupidity. So we're going to have to sit back and not get caught up in the crazy. We have to just watch the crazy. We can cheer once in a while for the crazies. We can invite other people to come over and we can watch the crazies together. You know what I mean? But but we basically let all the other crazy people do it. Oh, I gotta keep them making from do, and I gotta say something about this, and we need to protest this over there. Okay, but it's just gonna make you look like a dumbass. That's all. I mean, seriously, it's gonna make you look like a dumbass because you've tried that shtick before. You've tried to do something that didn't work. You tried to do the political thing, it didn't work. And then you did a thing down over there, it didn't work. All we got were complaints because you were blocking traffic. That's all. That's what you did. You made a lot of motorists mad because you blocked traffic. So now the folks, the protesters are like, well, we used to be able to do some of this stuff, and it used to be effective, and people saw what we were doing, And yeah, it ain't working no more. Nope. This is the 22nd century. you know, nope. Sorry, you're going to have to change your tactics. And also, in hanging around and watching folks and stuff here this last week, there's some of these folks that look as dumb as a box of rocks, honestly. But some of them are sleepers. Hawkeye, what you mean by that? They're sleepers in that they're thinking about stuff. They've been walking around today and looking at things. They've listened to some speeches and stuff. They're cogitating on things. And then you find out he's been absorbing all kinds of information. And then when this person tries to show him up, he goes, "Well, did you know that the temperature of this and the inverse rate of," and the guy goes, "Where'd you learn that?" And he goes, "Well, there's a, pamphlet right here." And I went over and talked to that guy for 30 minutes. And then, they had a little movie that I went and watched for 10 minutes. And, I sat down with my pocket calculator and figured out a couple of things. And, this is really cool. And the guy's going, "What did I miss? What did I miss?" You missed the opportunity to teach these people coming in. You have missed the opportunity to maybe salvage some people on the way out, you know. But the fact that he froze salaries and froze positions and froze, didn't shut them all down, but if they're at home working and they don't want to come in, then they're not going to get paid. Well, how can they do that? Put a hold on the, thing, in the computer. There's somewhere it says it's okay to send $1,000 to Joe over there, and he gets $1,000 every week. But now we're telling it no, Joe doesn't get $1,000 every week anymore because he only works part time. So we're only going to pay him twice a month. So he doesn't get a check this week, but he does next. He doesn't get a check on the third week, but he does on the last. That's how Joe's going to get paid from now on. Well, wait a minute now. I mean, that's going to mess with the AI. The AI is supposed to be the smartest computer out there. Don't you think my AI will figure it out? Maybe not. But so these people who are trying to keep up with stuff, they are stealing right in front of us. Right damn dead in front of us. Once that nobody's looking, there goes a wad of bills folded up that went in his, he feigned a little thing and put that money in his pocket. And everybody's real busy and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to collect some of this over here. And he's folding money up, folding money up. Fives, tens, 20s, folding money up, fold it in half. And next thing you know, he's got a wad about yay thick. Down in his pocket it goes. Now, he has a master's degree. Did I mention that he's black? He has a master's degree in engineering, and not mechanical, but engineering. Um, and so he makes, between 85 and 100 grand every year, per year. So this guy should not be broke. It is, ain't it? What time is it? Yeah, coming around, ain't it? So, however he has squandered his money, he has. I come to find out, I make about a third of what he makes, right? I've got more money in my bank account than he does. And he makes three times more than I do, right? Every week. And so now for me, I'm like, and I'm doing his job. I'm making him look good, but it's putting stress on me. So then he's going to leave him in the lurch. He has decided to take another job, which means he breached his contract that he signed that he would stay, for 18 months before he left to change jobs or whatever, right? 18 months. And he barely had a year in. So now he's like, well, I wonder what my legal rights are about this, and can they dock my pay, and can they do this and that? And it's like, you mofo, you're cheating them. You signed a document and had it stamped. You put your name on the line. Come to find out you're just lying. But that you put your name on the line for people to say, I am Joe Schmo and I am an engineer and you can trust me. We can trust you for being a jackass, right? So, but there are so many people that think they know what they're doing. And to cover up the fact that they don't know what they're doing, they overcompensate. Well, Joe, don't they have those big barrels down there? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know them big barrels, yeah. We know that where that place is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What big barrels? You know, the big plastic barrels. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Wait a minute. So, but nobody really knows what's going on. But somebody has given a direct order to keep everybody busy, so nobody knows what's going on. So right now, everybody's real busy, but few people know what's really going on because they're looking at all of these distractions and it's keeping their mind locked in the distractions. Is that what's really going on? No. What? Yeah, folks are really not paying attention. No, I'm far be it for me to say that I know what's going on. However, I was absolutely within arm's reach of it all. Okay. So I heard it, watched it, had to clean up his mess. So did I get a raise? Did I get a day off with pay? No. Were they gonna try to give me a raise, when my contract comes up? No. Then why should I stay here? He made two-thirds more money than me, and I'm sitting in his chair fixing his problem. But you won't give me any more money. You won't help me out anymore. Well, you son of a bitch, I'm going home. And I turned on the computer and I pushed my chair up under the desk and I went to the house. Oh, shame on me. Oh, 2 hours later, when I'm here sitting at the house smoking a bowl, and they're like, man, you got to come back. You can't just walk out like that. And I was like, I didn't sign anything that I could quit anytime I wanted because I'm on this, being hired this way. Well, yeah, but you wouldn't really do that to us, would you? Well, you screwed me out of $5 an hour for the last 2 years. And you won't even let me have the day off. I had to just come home. You won't give me a raise after promising me a raise that you would bring my salary up commensurate with your engineers. I'm $5 below the engineers that you fired, whose job I am still doing. But you cheapskates won't pay me $5 more to bring me up to what 5 other engineers were making. But now that they're gone, that frees up some money, don't it? You should be able to pay me $5 more an hour because I'm doing 5 times more work because those engineers are gone. Nope. So I stayed home. I got poor as hell. I got hungry. I got damn near lost my property. I mean, it was nasty. But I still feel proud because I didn't go crawling back, you know? They did screw me over. They weren't going to pay me in there. Well, come on back. We'll work something out. No, you're not. For the last 7 years, you haven't worked it out. You promised me 7 years ago. Where is it? So, but anyway, there are things like that that's going on. I'm not trying to make this about me, honest. But, because there were other people that worked at Prestolite and other businesses that's how management feels, you know? And if you feel that way in management these days, you're not going to get very far because you absolutely do have to take into consideration your workers. Well, this job is really simple. All you have to do is take this and tie it around here, and that's that. Okay. And you ought to be able to do 30 of these in 1 minute. Are you out of your mind? Well, did you see how fast you did that one? Yeah, it only took you a couple of seconds. So you want me to put this on this and this over here, and you want me to do how many of them in a minute? Well, let's see what I can do. So you start trying to do your best. You start trying to like this. And after 30 seconds, you got one done. And 30 seconds more, and you got another one done. So now the person who's looking, watching you going, well, this ain't going to work. You only got two done in a minute. You got to do better than that. Well, wait a minute. Not until we change something. It's got to be easier for these parts to come down onto my table. It's got to be better over here with some extra air to keep the thing from sliding off the table. You got to have this over here. So, what did we learn? We learned at the time that there are people who think they know what they're doing and they don't. And the people who have to work on the machine, the people who have to make 5 of these little buggers a minute, they came down from 35, right? But so um, then there was this lady who complained, and she learned how to do this flow. It was almost like Tai Chi. And she could go, oh yeah, oh, I tell you what, yeah, and she tied off. and and she got 7 per minute. But to the point of this, you know, personal folks who are working, to make things, you have piecemeal work. Well, you got to make 10 of these an hour, or you got to make 20 of these every 30 minutes, or you got to whatever the number is, right? Otherwise, you don't get paid, right? So, what about some of these lady folk here trying to take care of some of these issues with them boxing gloves they got on? And say they go up there and they look around, they're trying to do deal and whatever, and they have flipped a switch somewhere, and next thing you know, there's all kinds of stuff shooting out the tailpipe, and the car looks like it's fixing to blow up, and but anyway, so companies had to be more careful. They have to communicate more. They have to start listening to some of us retired engineers that we really do know what we're talking about. Pay attention. We want to see America great again, even though we're retired. We don't want to see them folks over there look like fools. No, I've done just about worked for free just to get back in a plant and see how things are working again. You know, but you could spare $50. It'd help me out. But we need to get back into doing these things. We need to get back into being proud. But at the same time, you can't be proud of the work you're doing if the situation is sloppy. There's grease and oil on the ground, and you got to walk through it. There's no way you can go around it, and you're moving something big and beautiful, right? And so, and you take about 4 steps, and you got good boots on, right? And you start to slide, and you reach up and you grab that very expensive thing that's hanging up there overhead that you're trying to move, and now you got greasy fingers on it. And now that thing that's up there is swinging back and forth. It was pearly white till you put your hands on it. But wait a minute, you almost fell. And wait a minute, yeah, but you put your hands on that perfectly white statue. You're in trouble. Well, but you were doing the best you could. You were doing everything that you needed. But who put the oil on the floor? Who's responsible for that? And so, shouldn't you get onto their ass because they're the ones that did that? And I'm the one that got in trouble for slipping in the oil, right? Okay. So that's how stuff works. You could be on the other side of the plant and go, no, did it, and it's like, what? So, but coming up here in the very near future, I got some more fireworks I want to shoot off, and I got some more topics for discussion I want to touch base on. But look around you and be observant. Of all the things you can really be now, you should always be. But learn how to be observant, right? We need to watch out for crazy people who might run into you. People have taken a truck and gone down, for Mardi Gras. Uh, they did it. They had the same thing happen in Paris a couple of years ago, where somebody in a truck, mowed down people on one of the streets. So this is not a new thing, but it's really easy to do. I could do it even in my old truck, but I don't want to. I couldn't handle that. Just the thought of it, makes me sick. But to a crazy person, it's like, well, yeah, I could do it with my old truck. Yeah, I could put I could put a cattle guard on the front of it and go like hell. So there are crazy people that think that shit. But to those of us where we're trying to allow folks to be respectful of one another and to show mercy for one another and all of these natural things without being subjected to, well, you're a bigot, you're an asshole, you're a. No, we got to stop that kind of stuff. Now's the time to clean up our act. Okay. We clean up our act by working with the normies, right? We clean up our act by being able to explain without getting mad what some of these new changes are and what you can hypothesize. Well, why did he leave that boat out there in the middle of the field over there? Well, I don't know. Trump was going to do something. Was there really cocaine in the hull of that thing? Well, I don't know, but what about Hunter Biden? I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. Somebody said that they offed him. What? So things ain't done yet by a long shot. So the best things we can do to help the normies is ease them into things. We can go back to being a friend. Say, look, Trump's president now. So what do you think about that? Dirty motherfucker. Yeah, he's gonna blah blah. Say, yeah, well, we ain't dead yet. Well, what do you mean? Well, you said that the world was gonna be in that. Go to being the world was gonna be at an end in like one day. It's been a week. The end of the world ain't here. Um, I haven't seen any rockets get. Well, they did it in Yemen or something, but so maybe your predictions that we were going to go right to war because Trump is Hitler and ain't done none of it. Huh. I guess maybe we should all sit down and reconsider our positions as to what's going on in the world. Right? Right. Because it's just common sense. Right? Right. Common sense to go, oh, let me look at that again. We're gonna go up that road over there. Yeah. Well, that road looks pretty good. I think we might make it okay. Let me go up that road a little ways and check it out. Okay. And you say, well, what's that got to do with it? Well, because when you use all of your options, when you look through the situation and you go, I didn't know there was a road over there. Well, we need to get down the mountain and it goes over the ridge and it goes down. And then you find out that that little road over there was a logging road and that it literally does go down from the top of that little spot to the bottom and you can get right up back out on the highway. And oh my God, it saved you being stuck all day in the woods. And now, wow. So you need to show other people, that you can work together. And these folks are going to be like, well, is he a loner or does he work good with others? Or is this person, blah, 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 he don't know. So you need to do the best you can. You need to make sure that 400 miles, that's kind of far. SpaceX. But so anyway, before somebody makes a rash decision, it's like, well, we've studied this over here, and we build a special chamber to test this stuff, and we've done, and you say, well, that's really all good and dandy, but really, you're going to be tumbling through an atmosphere who's going to be very abrasive to what you're picking up, and it's going to act like sandpaper. And so, how are you going to protect it? How are you going to do with this? Well, I thought all I had to do was go over there and just cut the top off. Yeah, but there's a lot of other stuff you do. And then all of a sudden, what seemed like a really easy task has turned into a cluster muck. And so, beware, scientists. And some of these science projects that they've done in the past, I think they need to read them over. I think they need to redo some of them because I think there are, in some instances, there are more toxic stuff in the neighborhood than they want us to believe. And, oh, no, it's okay. Oh, come on, man. We can go through this swamp. It's only like 6 inches deep, and then you get sucked into a bottomless pit. Well, George, that's a really good advice there. Um, and oh gosh, how does that? So there are, the idea that you've got some fairly decent clothes on, nothing special, and you're walking down the road or down the street, and you've walked this street quite a few times, and there are always some, winos and other kind of stuff on the street, and now you've got on two extra shirts. Well, what's that for? You see that guy over there? Yeah, I'm gonna give him one. So you walk over and you go, "Excuse me, sir. You know, would you like to have a nice, clean, brand new shirt?" "No, I don't want one. What do I need with a brand new, clean shirt for?" And she goes to peel off his shirt, right? And so he's standing there watching her. Now he's looking at her boobies, right? He's not looking at the shirt. He's not looking anywhere. He's looking at her boobies. They're not real big, but they're nice. And he's like, "Well, I ain't seen boobies like that in a while. I have." And she says, "Here, Mr. Homeless Man, here is a t-shirt. Ma'am, I really like your boobies. Thank you for taking that shirt off." And wait a minute, sir. And she's all embarrassed now because, he was watching her boobies instead of paying attention to the shirt. So you think you're getting through to some people when this poor old guy is like, you know, Aqualung. Aqualung, my friend, don't you start away uneasy. You poor old sod, you see, it's only me. So, in the song of the wilderness, what's going on is that people are being affected by all these changes. So just do the best that you can. And John Knockers. But see, there was an incident yesterday, and I could tell the guy was like looking at the movies, and he was like, he was kind of sort of listening, but he was looking at her boobies. And um, I'm like, dang, man. So you're trying to get him to where he understands how to take his medicine, and he understand that he's got to close the back door, and understand that if you leave the stove on, you could burn the house down, and understand there are certain things that the old boy should know, but because of his physical condition, he doesn't have that capacity anymore. So we have to be nice to those people, kind of sort of like me. Now I'm okay, but I've had moments to where I don't really know what I'm doing here. I don't know, what the fudge was I doing? How did I get here? And it's like it's happened a couple of times, and usually goes right away just a minute or so, but it's happened. So here's a friend of mine who is being let out to roam around. I think they're hoping that he'll get hit by a car and they won't have to worry about him anymore. So, having worked in with um, workers in the medical field with mental health and seeing how they will not give JoJo medicine so they can see what'll happen. Because JoJo and Jim Bob over there has started fisticuffs today. So they're taking bets as to who's going to get the first punch in. And you go, Hawkeye Dave, no, they're not really doing that, are they? Oh hell yeah, they got closed circuit TV and they're selling tickets. They make money with um well now that same hospital is closed. There's no longer Southwestern. What happened? Well, yeah. What happened to the guy? What happened to all the people? And blah blah blah. Well, nothing. They was, caught with some illegal practice. Leave it at that. They were caught playing poker, you know, and betting on the clients for. So, but here's the thing: you never know what somebody's going to pull. And if you see somebody that's trying to pull something, get out of the way, stay out of trouble. Now, there is that moral dilemma. Do I, it's not really cheating. Do I tattle on him? Do I tell somebody, like, hey, this guy really don't know what he's doing? I mean, he was he's trying to take the depth, and I don't think he's ever done it before. You know, well, we'll just have to keep an eye out for him. Hey, Mary, how you doing? God bless you. Should I say hi to everybody else? I'm fixing to go. I'm sore. My back hurts. I got to get a drink. And I got to go to bed. I've been up for a long time. Mary, it is so good to see you here. It's good to see all of you here. But, we can help the normies out by just being calm. We can help some of these normies out. Like, if I go over to Eddie's house, I can't go in and go, I told you so. What do you mean? Well, I told you he was going to win. I told you he was going to landslide. I told you that such and such. Nah, I can't do that. Now, I gotta. Oh yeah, I'm doing the best I can. I go to the doctor's today at 3:15, so to have a little checkup. So I'm doing pretty good. I got my blood work back, and my cholesterol and everything is great. And they went in for a heart cath, what, 3 months ago, and saw the pictures on the screen, and the inside of my heart looks pretty good. So, okie dokie. So, just got to stay sane and not go crazy. And so, unfortunately, wake up in the middle of the night going, my head is going crazy and it's going, the normies are going to freak out. What? The normies are going to freak out. Well, yeah, probably. No, 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 you don't understand. The normies are going to freak out. I know, I heard you. Okay. The normies are going to freak out. Okay, I got you. And then the day comes when the normies freak out. It's like, I didn't think it was going to go like this, or however, or what is, what's pissing off the normies? Well, I wanted a new ink pen and I can't do, and they're doing something and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, you really got that pissed off because you didn't get a mechanical pencil? You didn't get a mechanical pencil and you're throwing a hissy fit? Well, they said I would get one this time around and this year and blah, blah, blah. Did you just see what they just brought in? They're shooting, tear gas over there from the, and you want to, it's just lucky they haven't hit us. And wait a minute, and you want to bitch? Come on now. So there are Karens who just have to bitch at everything. And you say, well, do you really understand what's going on? And they go, well, yeah, it's this, and that. Like, well, yeah, sort of, but you missed something. Well, what's that? You see that little gizmo over there? Yeah, it's supposed to be inside. What? Yeah, you missed it. Well, how many of those did you do? 100. Well, now you got to go back and get those 100, and you got to take them apart. And now you're going to have to clean them out. And now you're going to have to, oh, shit, because I don't know how to do this task. But anybody can do it. We had some of our best workers on it. Yeah, they've worked for you for 14 years. They're used to this kind of stuff, and they can show off. But here's the other thing: they might be able to do 14 in an hour, but the next hour is going to be 10, and then the next one after that's going to be 8, and the next one after that is going to be 7, then 6, and then it's going to stay right about there. Well, how do you know? Because I'm looking at the data right now. Pay attention. Observation. So, can we get along? Yeah. Can there be some good stuff? Dr. John Campbell, this something similar story. But anyway, he's a channel that you watch, and he's been talking about the side effects of the vaccines. So, but anyway, so we need to stick together, those of us, and we need to get competent scientific research, not some bullshit that they want to say. Well, this is how you do it. See, it's okay, and then on the other side, it's going. Ying, 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 ying. So, my dear friends, be safe, stay healthy, because I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. If there are normies that are in your neighborhood or hang around you or something, be kind. Now, if they're being a butthole, leave them be. But if they're seriously want some help and this and that, then be kind because you're going to learn something too. If you're going to teach someone else how to stay out of this quagmire, how to be able to do this and such, then you will benefit from our being here simply because you got two more drivers. And because I have experience doing this and he's experienced doing that. So we are an asset at the moment for you, sir. And maybe you'll pay us the right amount at the end of this game. Hmm. So you can still negotiate for yourself. You see what I mean? But in the long standing scheme of things, you want to be as stripped down as possible. Wear your uniform, wear your stuff. But if I notice you don't have anything dangling. There's nothing in your pockets. There's nothing to. That's very good. That's what we need. We need to tackle these things with what we got, with our ingenuity, with our own physical prowess, if you will, and we can still be standing on the other side. So these folks are going to try to start some. They already have, like yesterday with me. And so let's just let it go. I got to learn to keep my temper down because they have poked my button so many times. But so be safe, be safe, be safe, my dear ones. Remember to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. So this is Hawkeye Two Feathers saying thank you for hanging out with me. Good morning to you. I will be back. I'm planning on doing a bunch more videos here in the very near future. Um, and we can get together then. So thank you, Mary. Thank you, Scotty Boy. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, John. Honest, 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 honest. We'll see you another time.